Welcome to TMC Newsroom. I'm Carl Ford. I'm here with Nigel from Spirent. Nigel, tell people your real name and what you really do.
All right. So my name is Nigel Wright. I'm Vice President of Product Marketing for Spirent Communications. We're actually one of the world's largest test and measurement companies across the board in telecommunications. So everything from Ethernet, through mobile devices, through GPS. We kind of do it all. I work for the wireless division. So we basically test the performance of mobile devices.
And where we stand with mobile devices right now in terms of, there are a lot of people talking about fourth generation and the broadband internet and all this data stuff.
Yep.
What are they coming to you and saying, holy cow, help me out?
Yeah, well, that's interesting. I think over the last 12 months particularly, there's been a lot of high-profile launches of these mobile devices that have caused some issues. People haven't been able to make calls reliably, the data performance hasn't been what they expect. And so I think that's put a lot more of a spotlight on the performance of the devices. So actually what we do is we'll test everything from the physical layer up through the application layer, as well as a lot of the enabling technologies. So like assisted GPS, for example. It's been in devices for a while. People, I think it's fair to say, are pretty dissatisfied with the initial implementations of AGPS. They can't get the fixes they want in the street when they want them. They can't get them in the parking lots. All of the use cases that they might want. So we've established like an over-the-air testing methodology, working with the CTIA here. They've got their own standards group that puts together these test recommendations. So that'll establish the performance of assisted GPS so that the user satisfaction with location-based services, we think will increase significantly. That's one area. Another is call reliability. I mean, one thing you'd think, we're what? 7 or 8 years into 3G now.
Right.
So you'd think a device would be able to reliably make a voice call, right?
You'd hope.
And maintain a voice call. You would hope that. Well, they don't.
Okay.
And
shocking.
It is shocking. And so we've been putting together mobility test solutions that actually test the ability of a device to set up a call and to maintain a call. If it hands off from a 2G network to a 3G network, you shouldn't have to care. Right? You shouldn't drop the call. It shouldn't hang up your data call. It should continue. So we found that the role of the device in that is much greater than people expect.
Okay.
So they go, oh, the networks, the network, I've got bad coverage. Well, maybe sometimes you have. But in many cases, the device itself simply dropped the call.
So I always think of you guys as kind of testing the network, but now also you've got kind of a testing the device.
Right. So we do both pieces. We test in the core of the network with our broadband division. We're focused very much on the device part. What we actually do is emulate the network so that you can focus on the performance of the device itself.
Okay.
So we look like a network to the device, so you can take the network out of the equation. Because if you go drive testing, you might drive that same route 3 or 4 times, get completely different results each time. Right? You've got different GPS satellites in the sky, you've got a truck parked at the side of the road, you're getting reflections off. You always get differing results. What we give is we emulate the same network conditions time after time after time. So if you see a problem, you can come up with a fix, validate the fix, and not go to market with a product that's going to give you problems and potentially you have to patch or worse still recall thousands or millions of them and the operator doesn't get the bad effects that come from poor perception of a device's performance.
So now, I think of you guys as being, you said you're one of, but I always think of you guys as being kind of the global leader. Kind of give me a viewpoint of what's going on in the world right now in terms of who's deploying what and where.
Yeah, interesting question. Yeah, so the big news is still that the core technologies, HSPA, HSPA+, very solid. We're seeing WiMAX as more of a regional play. It's quite strong in emerging markets. Particularly the fixed version. The mobile version, I think there's still some questions on that. We see HSPA Plus happening in patches. Some operators are taking it, some technology providers, network equipment manufacturers are supporting it, not everyone is. LTE is going to be interesting. We're fortunate to have a very good relationship with Verizon, and they are very, very committed to deploying LTE in a timely manner. They also have some interesting test challenges because, of course, they're going to be looking at CDMA and LTE multi-mode devices, right?
Right.
So that's a unique test challenge that we're very well positioned to solve. And we're working also with Docomo in Japan, who's another leader in LTE deployment. But LTE is going to be kind of an elective play to start with. You know, those nomadic users that need all the bandwidth are going to use it, but there's a tremendous number of challenges for LTE to deliver. People are banding around 50 megabit per second, 100 megabit per second. Well, a lot of things have got to go right to start delivering that. So there's a lot of new air interface technologies, multiple input, multiple output, where you have these multiple antennas that are actually splitting the signal over multiple paths and then combining it. Well, those algorithms are better be correctly implemented in order to deliver on the promise of the technology. So from our point of view, it's great. There's a ton of new test challenges and a lot of technologies that have been proven up to now only with mathematical simulations, right? People have got to get them in the lab, get them out in the field, and start seeing them perform. So some good challenges from our point of view there.
Excellent. Nigel, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.